So, for the record, this is officially Soup City Sins, Season 7, Episode 2. We're in the beginning. We're in the beginning, indeed. So, when we last left our coterie, they were in full assault mode, circled on all sides, being beset by Tremere, left, right, center, and post. Having attended the adjudication ceremony, the adjudication of one of the problem children of the Chantry, Hestia, Dizzy, and Bill had been escorted to the Golgotha Chantry in the company of a Michael Dubiard. In the midst of the adjudication, as judgment was being passed and being offered up, Sylvia appeared. She miraculously unearthed, unexcavated, and delivered. Having spoken with Dizzy and Bill, she made her presence known to the entirety of the Chantry. And as they say, the proverbial hell broke forth. So picking up where we last were, with Bill firing shells at where Sylvia was and watching them flame into metal slag. And as Hestia locked gazes, firing all of her mystical energy, attempting to force Sylvia into complete frenzy through extinguishing as much of her forte as possible, with Dizzy ducking and covering near the doorway to the grand chamber where all of this is taking place. In alphabetical order, starting with Bill, watching your shells immediately dissipate into nothingness, what is your action?
I think I was trying to clear the path for Hestia.
Yes, you're in the midway, pretty much in the full middle of the scrum of the Tremere gathered around. You're aiming at Sylvia and watching your shells leave your firearm and turn into molten slag in the few feet before her. Taking a quick look to your left and to your right, you see Tremere on Tremere violence. You see Kindred engaging in a full-on wizard versus wizard sorceress action. There are spells being heaved, bodies being contorted, grimaces of energy and effort being executed. Somewhere behind you, you know that Hestia is on the raised stage area where the other adjudicators were. What is it that you're doing?
So if I remember correctly, I did pass a check for a hunger frenzy because I'm at 4 hunger.
Yes.
I tell Hestia that we need to move, and then if she doesn't start coming my way, I'm gonna try to get back, because I don't think it will be cool if I start munching on somebody here.
Well, you know, there's cool and then there's cool.
Especially because I don't know which side it's everybody here, so I can just try and beat on somebody that's on the wrong side. So my side. Or at least not against me.
Okay. All right. So that being the case, as you yell toward Hestia for her to join you, sliding to Dizzy, crouching near the doorway with all of this heinous, horrible, supernatural action happening all about you, as if Hogwarts has come to life and decided to do battle with themselves. What is it that Dizzy is aiming to accomplish?
She's mostly just kind of cursing, not exactly under her breath, because the plan was to get out of here, and they are running into the fray against 800 other people.
Okay.
So mostly she's watching them run, unsure what to do, and just kind of keeping her head on the swivel to make sure nobody's coming at her.
Alrighty. And that being the case, focused as you are, Hestia, on Sylvia, realizing that things have grown considerably exponentially more difficult, what is it that you're attempting to accomplish?
Seeing as how shooting her and what I'm currently doing hasn't quite worked, I am going to turn my blood into super strong poison and coat my blade with it and blink up behind Sylvia.
Okay. All right. As you immediately grow closer to Sylvia, would you be so kind as to roll a stamina plus blood sorcery in regards to resistance?
Wait, I thought she was directly in front of me.
Yes, she is directly in front of you. You're cutting through the crowd of Tremere between you and her, so you're going around her in pretty much a half parabolic circle to move behind her, correct?
But if she's facing Bill, then shouldn't she be faced away from me?
Here, let's attempt to share a bit of the screen. Let's see if I can...
I mean, whatever is the most direct route. If she's not faced away from me, then she's not. She's getting stabbed either way.
Okay. Understandable. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your stamina plus blood sorcery as a resistance? As you move at a heightened speed, a conversation that you had at this point nearly a month ago when you and Sylvia met at Crooks comes into play. Are you serious? Your wards are facing in? Why would you do that? The whole point is to harm those who come near us, to harm other people. And as those thoughts settle into place with Hestia understanding that, yes, that energy has to go somewhere in the protection of herself and what has been happening with her headaches as those who have become threats or who have proven themselves dangerous through sheer potential or through aims, that pain, that repulsion has been aimed inward. It's not until running into the wall of heat that is surrounding Sylvia that the true definition of that settles more properly in place. Crashing against the shield like a rock thrown against a lake surface, Hestia is sent skipping along the edge of her aura. As she crashes into the wall nearest Dizzy, Bill watching this happen as Hestia blinks into view and bounces off, repelled at nearly the same speed and force to which she approached. What is it that you're doing, seeing that Dizzy and Hestia are on the opposite side of the blonde woman with glasses?
Well, I tried to help her getting out. I'm in kind of a bad shape here, so unless I can find a target in which I can more or less inconspicuously feed, I'm going to try getting out of here.
Okay, keeping your composure as best as possible with the beast clawing and attempting to crawl free of you. You make your way to Dizzy and Hestia, helping Hestia to her feet. Dizzy there in the doorway. And Dizzy, having watched this chain of events happen, both the sheer force used to turn the slugs of Bill's firearms into molten slag, and then Hestia bouncing off like a rock, skipping along a lake surface. What is that you're doing as Bill is there helping Hestia to her feet?
I will grab one or both of them, and we are leaving.
Hestia, absorbing the situation that just took place, what is it that you're attempting as Bill is helping you to your feet? Dizzy is throwing her arm around you to move you out. What is it that you're attempting?
I'm not wanting to go nowhere. I need to kill her. This is not okay. Like, how big of a ward does she seem to have around her? Like, at what point did I bounce off? How close did I get before I bounced off of it?
You know you were within 4 feet of her.
I look at Dizzy. Do you have your gun still? Because otherwise, we need to shoot that bitch.
Apparently, they don't carry any currency in this place. I shot at her head, and the slug just disappeared in thin air.
Yeah, but with Dizzy's gun, close enough is good enough.
We don't exactly have home field advantage. Live and fight another day. Let's go.
Also, I can barely keep it together. I need to feed. And I don't think this is the best place to lose my mind.
That those calls to reason, those calls to arms, those calls for flight away, would you be so kind as to roll Hestia's resolve plus composure? Up until this mental release, up until this moment, Hestia has never sought purposefully the ending of a thing. But Sylvia takes up that place in her mind as something that must be destroyed. And it is all that she can do to not mindlessly throw herself and everything she can put her hands on, both actually and literally and metaphorically, at her. This battle of factions within the Tremere, while others are falling left, right, and center, it is her only goal is to drop Sylvia, but some portion knows that the strength of her allies, the strength of her coterie, is in their ability to operate together. It is a barely concealed hate that burns through her in the moments as they pull away from the grand hall, further into the chantry, towards what should be the front door. Following Dizzy, being pulled along by Bill, who is barely contained and holding himself together, would you all be so kind as to roll your resolve plus occult for me, please?
Everybody?
Yes, please.
All right.
As the fires burn in Hestia's head as to ways and opportunities to bring down Sylvia, to take down what she has marked as her most beloved enemy, her most hated foe, a dawning realization hits as first Bill, then Dizzy begin to dissipate, to fade from view as you all grow closer and closer to the door. Having stopped in her tracks, there is a statement that was exchanged between herself and Michael Dubiard just a few moments before. the conversation about, have you been here before? Is this your first time? You can leave. Of course, you'd have to escort them. The trap inherent, she knew it for a trap. She knew that there was something more in play. And while she can still feel them about her, she knows that part of the trap is her having not been properly reconsecrated to the chantry. And with them not being part of the chantry at all, that the trap has been triggered. She knows that the only way forward is back, and the only way back is forward. So attempting to leave the way that they came will cause them to continue ceasing to be.
How much of them is left? Like, how much can I see of them, or are they completely dissipated?
They're not completely dissipated, and for them, they're still walking. You need to stop them from moving forward, and you need to move back. You need to move further into the chantry to escape. If you attempt to leave the way that you came, you all will be locked in an endless loop and never reach the exit.
Stop. Don't move any further forward. It's a trap. Remember what he said to me when I came in? We can't go out the way we came. Otherwise, you disappear and be stuck in a loop. We have to go backwards to go forward.
Do the hokey pokey. All right. Which one of these vampires are the ones I can feed upon? Because I don't think I'm gonna make it before I lose it.
The guy that we came here with is open season. The blonde, if you can get to her, take her out. She's free and clear. And then I point out like some other people I don't quite know too well and don't care about.
So wait, you're telling me that we can't leave unless they let us leave?
Yeah, whoever set the trap in the first place either has to be down and out or let us out. So we have to go backwards to go forward.
This is some bullshit. I'm killing every motherfucker in that room. And with that, I guess Dizzy's going to spin on her heel and head back.
Moving further away from the door, it doesn't seem quite as difficult moving forward as before. Just a second before, Hestia said that stop. It seemed as if the door was further and further away, as if you had farther to travel than you did upon entering. Taking her words to heart, knowing that you can't leave the way that you entered, you all move further into the chantry. Do you stop in the grand room where the battle is still being raged, where the forces, the factions have broken down a long faction line as, again, kindred upon kindred full-on assault is in the midst of the offing? Or do you move further past to find another exit out?
What do I need to do to try to find some prey?
Well, prey, vitae, is being foremost on your mind. You know that in that antechamber, in that grand hall where you all just left, are several kindred in the midst of full-on combat. It's a war zone. So you can enter into that war zone and you can attempt to move past it. What is your choice? What is your destination? Knowing that verbatim what Hestia imparted was that you can't leave the way that you entered. You must find another way out instead of the way that you entered.
Yeah, what Bill is saying is you have to shoot a bunch of people if you want to get out of here, and he needs to feed before shooting a bunch of people. So somebody that's in a corner that I can grab upon, that will be his best bet, I think.
Dizzy will look at Bill and smile and say, "Oh, sweetie, I bet you $5 we don't have to shoot anyone."
Well, each his own. I still have 4 bullets.
Don't have to shoot anyone. If you can snag one, we can drag them along on the way to finding another way out of here. We just can't leave the way we came. We have to find another way out. I've never been here before, but I'm sure we can figure out a way out that does not go back through the battle. As much as I want to go kill that bitch, it's not smart, so we need to find another way out.
Well, if you can hurt her directly, you can hurt those around her.
So do we need someone's help, or do we have another way?
There has to be another exit. There has to be a window or something elsewhere in this building that we can go out of. It's just that he's got a problem with needing to feed. So if we can get somebody that's close enough to where we need to pass and snag them, then that'll work for everybody. But we don't have to go in there just to pass it.
You can see Bill's fangs are probably extended, just because I'm imagining there's vampire blood flowing over here. As long as he seems very focused, determined. But the beast is still behind his eyes. Ladies, you lead the way.
So that's what we're gonna do. Instead of going into the main room, we'll try to edge along one of the other corridors or entrances, but as we pass, I'm gonna peek in really quick and see if there's anybody super close to the door that Bill can just snag.
Okay. So as you all are making your way and taking a risky glance towards the door, trying to remain obfuscated, would be so kind as to go ahead and roll dexterity and stealth. Bill.
Oh, sorry. I thought here.
Okay.
A question. Does my first level let me add my dexterity to not non-combat rolls, right? My first level celerity. Does that count for this?
Sure, why not? Let's go with that.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 4 more dice. Wait. I'm guessing 2 hunger. Since I rolled 2. And so it's 5 successes in total.
Which first level celerity ability does Bill have?
I think it's rapid reflexes, but I don't know if it's first level or second level. That lets you add your celerity. Let me check. Rapid reflexes and fleetness is the second.
Okay.
So if it's the second, I need to roll a rouse check.
You do, indeed.
Okay. Let's hope I don't miss.
I didn't even think about that. I have both Cat's Grace and Fleetness.
Cool.
You have rung the devil's doorbell and managed to ditch instead of being ding-donged on this one. As you all make your way along with the battle raging, it has reached the point of full out arcs of electricity passing through the room, along with screams of pain as nature's taser takes effect on the kindred gathered. And as you all slip past the room, because the battle has reached such a fever pitch, you know that there is only a moment of time before whichever faction is in fact the victor, that they begin searching the chantry for other members of the other faction. And you know what it's like to trespass even accidentally in a situation where tempers are already flaring, where attitudes are high on display. So moving along as quickly and quietly as church mice, you move further into the darkness of the Golgotha chantry. That feeling of absence and emptiness, that despair and depression that has pervaded and shadowed your steps since entry grows thicker with each step as you all find yourself in, strangely enough, a stone chamber. Hester, you've been in a similar situation as this before, with the stones dark and black and nearly dark enough to absorb the light around them. Luckily, someone did remember to pay the electricity bill this time, so there is not an all-encompassing darkness, but it is darker than it should be. The light doesn't reach as far, and so the shadows gathered around you all. And on the floor in front of you, on an altar of sorts, is a stone knight, clearly having been sacrificed to, as there is still moist and tacky vitae and blood clung to its mouth area. And as you all take in that sight, we're going to switch our gaze just a little bit. As Alexander, investigation is not your strong suit. Never has been, never would be at this point without some dyed-in-the-wool help and assistance. You were a weapon. You were an instrument to... You were designed to be an instrument to mete out the justice as designed and determined by your elders. In light of the recent slaughter, in light of watching a soul be snatched away from this world forever, you find yourself visiting one dojo after the next, looking for something and anything that will point you towards the Akashic Arrow leader's life. You remember the dojo where you initially ran into them, where you had the opportunity to meet them. When you attempt to visit that dojo, it looks abandoned. It looks deserted. It looks desolate.
Oh shit. And I don't recognize anybody at any of the dojos I visit. None of them look like any people in the crowd that ran away when Hestia killed the mage.
You recognize the gi. You know that one. Some were clearly practitioners of Taekwondo. You know, some were clearly practitioners of Shunakai. You know that some were practitioners of Kung Fu versus Karate. You know the stylings based on the gi they were wearing. It seems as if these individuals had been called or pulled forth from dojos outside the city, which look bit duplicitous. But as you move from dojo to dojo and having given up on literally cataloging each of the 700 martial arts dojos throughout the city, you decide to go to the source. You decide to cut off at the root. You remember where that dojo on Western was, and so that's where you are. They're at Western and Webster, looking north along the street, looking at the building, its three-sided facade, looking as if it has not been in use in quite some many months, instead of it being merely the few weeks since you were last here.
Okay, so I don't recognize anybody. The headquarters of the Akashic thugs that were harassing the temple, that's abandoned.
Yeah, it looks like it's been abandoned for a few instead of the few weeks since you were last here. You were under the impression that this was a living, breathing, active, fully staffed dojo. Yet, standing here on the sidewalk, looking at the building, there's a dust buildup. There's an emptiness about the place.
That's very strange. It was just, Can I try a little bit of sense the unseen on it?
Yes, you might. But sometimes go ahead and roll your wits plus awareness or occult, whichever is higher, plus your aspects. You inhale, closing your eyes, the invisible but ever-present world, the unseen, to fill your vision. In the doing, the dust falls away from the window. Boards that are in place seem to be transparent and completely translucent. You stare inside to a brightly lit dojo, and there are several students staring at the glass, concentrating on the glass in front of you, and it is clear that they have not realized that you can see them.
Son of a kids were trying to hide the whole damn building from. All right. They clearly don't want another encounter with me, so I'm gonna go ahead and force one and look for an entrance. If they're trying to hide, they're not ready for another shot, so that means it's the best time for me to have one with them.
Taking a step back and realizing that the only way forward, the doors be seeming old and barred with wooden reinforcements, you know that may actually be the case. They may have actually decided to try to reinforce their doors. However, with them concentrating on making it seem as if it's not here, as if they are not there, taking a step back further, realizing that it is just glass. What is it that Alexander does?
Alexander is going to go up, tilt his head a little bit, knock on the glass, and see how everybody reacts. Carefully trying to make direct eye contact with one of the...
There is a jump of fear as you knock on the glass and the sound booms through the space behind them. You see them jump and look at each other. One nods to the next. The person you make eye contact with does not, in fact, seem as scared as the other. There's a horribly mischievous smirk that falls across her mouth. She adjusts her ponytail by pulling her hair tighter into the ponytail holder and takes a step forward towards the glass. Attempting to meet your eye, she yells loud enough to be heard through the glass. "What do you want, murderer?"
Look at her, point at the door.
No, go away or we're going to call the police.
I'm going to start walking away and then turn around and just run at the glass and try to throw a knee through it.
All right. Well, on the list of bad
I'm just
things,
a little tired of everybody's shit. So.
Well, you know, the shortest distance between 2 points often is diving through the glass. What's Alexander's strength? And does he have potence?
He does not have potence, but he has a strength of 4.
Well, yeah. So, they attempt to move out of the way almost in time with each other, trying to make sure that they are clear of the window as Alexander comes crashing through. Unfortunately, the brave, foolishly so, brown-haired leader of the few that are gathered is not quite as lucky as that. She goes tumbling, knocked askance as Alexander comes shattering through the window, landing not quite in a superhero pose, but a little crouched and hunched from the effort of driving himself through a near plate glass window. The screams of fear and the yell is music to his heart as the clear fear of what he is, what he's done, what he's managed ripples through them, and the floor, while covered in bits and broken fobs of glass, is entirely his. What is it that he's attempting to say? What is it he's doing?
Where's the leader? Did she fall on the floor, or like what?
She did. She did. As you came flying through the window, she was knocked prone. The others, torn between their fear response and the fact that you weren't supposed to be able to do that, are unsure as to what to do. And she, instead of rolling to her feet, stays prone. She has clearly entered into a guard that you'd expect to see from some Brazilian jiu-jitsu master. You know that if
So
you
like
come
Alex.
yes, you know that if you come closer, that she'll probably attempt to slip your guard and either pull you down into her center or use her legs to keep you away from her.
All right. In that case, I'm just gonna stand so my back is towards anybody else.
Oh, your back is to the street.
So I didn't kill your master. Everybody understand that, right? If I had, I'd be moving through each and every one of you right now, but I'm not, because I'm not a killer. Okay?
And that's what a killer would say. Look what you've done. We knew she was coming to talk to you, and look at this. She's gone.
I just want to answer. All right. She was threatening to kill my friends, and I want to know if she was the end of the road there. And you guys are the next best to help me with that. She's not here anymore.
She'd never do that. We sometimes go ahead and roll.
You think so?
It's not grand persuasion. She wouldn't. She wasn't a killer, unlike you. If you're gonna kill us, just get it over with. Stop lying to us.
I'm not here to kill anybody. Okay?
That's exactly what a killer would say.
Alright, if I wanted to kill you so bad, then why the hell am I wasting time here talking to you? Why would I even say anything to you? Because now you can identify my voice, survive the attack, right? I wouldn't say anything if I wanted to kill you. I just walk right behind you and kill you, right?
I mean, we know you're lying. What is it that you... What else do you want? How else do you want to shame us? You've killed our sensei. You've shattered our defenses. And you want us to let our guard down so you can have your way with us?
I don't care if your guard's up or down. It didn't do you guys any good last time I showed up here. I just want to know who your sensei works for, okay? And if they have any more employees in the area.
One of the guys clearly trying to make a noble, heroic sacrifice steps forward. He eases into a very wide karate-esque stance. It's halfway between Shunikai and a more standard karate stance. His guard, however, is more modified kickboxing, southpaw. But it's clear that he's taking a stance to attempt to distract you from the others. You guys get out of here. I'll take care of him. And you know that he's been watching either too much anime or too much 1970s kung fu karate exploitation films. Because he grits his teeth, eases forward, flexing and tightening his muscles as he slowly eases close enough to either be able to flash out with a kick or lunge forward with a strike of another sort, typically fist or elbow. You're not going to get anything else. You killed my master.
Alex is going to lock eyes with you. Don't want to do that. I'm on my last nerve. But step back.
You're not going to shame my master's memory. You killed her. We know you and your... And he spits literally on the floor as if the taste of it is enough to cause him to have bile instead of it being the very real twitchy responses of a person who is scared absolutely shitless but is willing to do it because he in fact is scared, and he thinks that his sacrifice will give the others time to escape.
Alright, that's how you want to do this. Alex is going to look at the one on the floor. You take everybody else and run.
She slides up, establishing distance. She looks at the others. We won't forget you, Eric. Everybody, let's go. And she starts leading them out of the back door, further away from you. So they're just stepping out of the window. You won't live this down, you monster, says Eric, who has finally inched minor fraction of an inch close enough to actually be within striking distance. His twitchy, shaky, adrenaline-filled muscles flexing as he makes and remakes his fist.
This is just gonna, can I do like a blink grab? Like, to catch him off guard, close the distance and grab him?
Sure, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl, add your celerity. You meld into the momentary speed force. You step between seconds. You are suddenly there, wrapping your hands around him, and you don't fucking believe it. He manages to shoot your grab, sliding beneath your grip, and now has his back to the window. And that escape is somehow fueling his confidence. He's not quite as twitchy. He's still shaking with the excess adrenaline, but there was a glow and a feel to him that humans shouldn't have. It is that same manifestation of other energy that you felt watching Hestia drain down the former master of the dojo. It's not as strong nor as bright, but there is a connection with something that is completely and totally beyond human there in him, a spark of the other. And you know that if given the opportunity to grow, that he might be equal to or surpass the former dojo master, the former sensei of this dojo. It's not going to be that easy, you monster.
Alright, I see how it's going. Alright, Alex is gonna bite his tongue and try to spit corrosive vitae at his legs.
At his leg or at his face?
At his legs. Definitely not his face. If we're playing ball with fancy rules, I might as well use mine.
All right. Should make that happen. Dexterity and brawl. And does your corrosive vitae require one rouse roll or two?
One rouse roll? First level of ability, I think?
Okay.
Or is it second? Either way, I think it's one rouse roll. We got two rouse rolls usually come in like later abilities.
Okay.
Alright. There it is.
Well, now, the unmitigated gall of this stupid fucking human. He's not even as enlightened as your abbot. He has no grace to him. He deserves to be drunken down like the cheapest of light beers. Says some voice from just around the corner of your conscience, just outside of the reach of what you believe is right. And there's a semblance of judgment in that whisper of the beast. How dare they make you work for this? How dare they? He deserves all the hell you bring him. I'm going to be so kind, just go ahead and roll your dexterity and brawl. Oh, he is fast, but unfortunately for him, your anger is faster. As he moves to step in and launch a side kick, you coat his just below his knee, and his former whole leg is covered in the acidic touch of your vitae as it eats through his gi, through his skin, and the cry of pain that echoes through the dojo from him, as much as you don't want to admit, is a music to you. Your beasts of a mind to drain him down. His dojo challenged yours and lost. Their sensei is non-existent. According to the rights and laws that you were taught by your sire and your sire's associates and the teachers and the judges, everything they have is technically yours. You and your coterie defeated them. You and your coterie in Hestia drain their master for all that she was. That means this dojo, all of its students, should bow down and beg for their lives. They should dedicate themselves to you in fealty. They should immediately respond with the respect that you are due, instead of this foolish, silly, your beast goes on and on, launching a logical reason why you should not hold back, why you should, in fact, drink him and them completely dry. It's the disrespect for you. What is it you're attempting, that you're doing?
Moment to have a to talk his beast down. Trying to remind himself that the benefit of long-term goal orientation and discipline being a virtue. I feel like as if he would still have the wherewithal to do that to himself for now, at this low state of hunger. But he knows it won't always work. I'm gonna tell the what happens to the student? Does he fall to the ground in pain, or is he still standing with acid into his leg?
He is rolling on the ground, attempting to put it out. The fire, the burning, the sheer acidic touch of your vitae as it eats through the entirety of him. It's not an acid that you can cool off with a base. This is an acid of the mystical variety. Your blood and everything that it touches begins to divest the life of itself. It is a necrotic poison, and it is a necrotic acid, and it is working its magic against the very core of it.
I'm going to tell him that I can make the pain stop. All you need to do, tell me if there are any other Akashic in the area, and anybody that you know of above your stay.
We don't know. There's 7 others. Please help. I'm sorry. You can get away with it. You can get away. I promise.
7 others where?
Winnetka, Harvey, South Shore. The other 3, I don't know. They call themselves the children of Averin. Please help.
All right. Close your eyes and open your mouth.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
If he does so, Alex is gonna bite his hand and put some blood into his mouth to try to heal him.
In this name of ending pain, people will try almost anything, including opening their mouth and closing their eyes, as Alexander prepares to give you a big surprise. As he manages to swallow the pain long enough to not scream aloud as you bite into the palm of your hand and cause vitae to flow. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll a arouse roll for me, please? Keeping your beast from slipping further off the leash, you deposit a bit of your vampiric essence into his waiting maw. The moment that the potent, viscous vitae of your existence touches his lips, the pain begins to stop as he is gifted with the essence of ambrosia, as he is gifted temporarily with what it's like to be almost you. And that susceptibility to the mystical, that susceptibility to the magic of your blood, you've seen that look before when you attempted to turn judges of Yanlo that are associated with your Kimpo to give them the added benefit and bonus. All of them had responded interestingly, except for their leader, their clear older member, who Bill put into her grave. And as you think on Bill, we take our eye and glance back at Dizzy, Bill, and Hestia. Before you on this stone altar with a small gleaming bit of a bone lance sticking out of its chest is a stone knight which has had its mouth covered in blood. The blood is still tacky. There's still droplets of it across the altar where this knight is resting. Why would they feed or attempt to feed a stone knight?
Pretty sure I've figured out that it's a way to set the trap, or it's what causes the way this place feel in the first place.
What's your unrolled occult from Hestia? How many dots do you have?
4.
So presented with this in the path of your egress from here, presented with this macabre display of God knows what.
If I break that statue, am I going to be in trouble?
There is definitely that potentiality, but who would know? It's not like they have cameras down here, do they?
I'm going to look and see if they have cameras, because if they don't, I'm going to break that statue.
Okay, so as you begin scouring the room, this way out, you know that it has to be through here. There has to be some hidden egress, and there's probably some trap of sorts. As you begin scouring the walls, looking for a hidden camera that may be monitoring the situation, Dizzy, Bill, there is a bloody statue with a bone lance through its center in front of you and radiating about you. Oh, from the walls themselves, that eeriness that Dizzy felt when they crossed over while bringing the lodestone from Indianapolis. All around you is that dark necromantic energy flowing to and through you.
So are we like formulating a solution? Because I don't like any of this, and I'm about to go all Chinatown up in this bitch.
Bill, you've never been in a place such as this, and while it's doing wonders to dampen your hunger, it is also doing wonders to foster a depression internally. The sheer ugliness and horridness of the walls around you is causing your inner child to scream in anguish. And Hestia, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus larceny for me, please, as you scour the walls looking for hidden alcoves of either a phone, a camera, some warded rat, some watcher of sorts, some gargoyle, something that would allow them to watch what's happening. You not only find no monitoring, you find that lens, you've seen that lens. Years ago in the land Crusades, there was supposedly the lens that was used to kill centurion who lanced Christ's side, blessed and made holy by the sacrifice of his life. If you're not mistaken, you are sure that has been charged with necromantic energies, but you know that lance is an item of power, much like the lodestone. And with that idea sitting foremost in your own mind, let us take a quick 10 minutes. So we will be back at 2 after the hour. I'll see you guys post haste. All right, guys, everybody back?
Present.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're still waiting for Alice, but he is present in this particular scene, so that's quite all right. Hey, there you go. You're not actively in this particular portion of the scene, but that's quite all right. We're glad to have you back. Regis, you there? All right.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I mean, I was muted. Shit.
No worries. All right. So, Hesha, with where that purported blade is from, with it being a bit of an ancient mystical archaeological find of not quite the century, but very close to it. If that is what you believe that it is, what hypothesis have you come to as to what Golgotha actually is?
Hold on. 'Cause that one threw me a little bit. I'm like, okay, because I'm focused on what I was about to do, but I don't know, because it shouldn't be the hill where they mounted Christ on the crucifixes, because that's somewhere else in Europe, right?
Yes, that is it. An entirely different continent and time zone.
Probably some sort of order, if I remember, because you said it was originally Masons, but those trace their history back further than that to things that happened in the other countries. So, Knights of Templar, I want to say? Is where I'm guessing.
That would be a good hypothesis. But how
So
to
with that
test it?
being the thought, I'm going to try to pull the lance from the statue.
Dizzy, Bill, you see Hesha climb up on the altar above the statue of a knight. You have seen horror movies that are much along the same.
Yep. Try to follow her lead.
What are we doing? Do you have a plan?
The statue is the anchor. It's anchoring whatever is going on in this building to the building. So if we can either break the magic between the lance and the statue or break the statue entirely, it should lift whatever is going on enough for us to get out of here.
At that, Dizzy will walk forward and punch the statue.
All right. As there's no real roll. What's your strength, potent?
My strength is only 1, but I have 3 potents.
Ooh, yeah. As Dizzy's doing this, as Dizzy's moving forward to punch the statue, what is Hestia doing? Is she going to pull the lance? Is she? And what's Bill doing? Is he?
If we break the statue, can't I just take the lance once it falls to the ground? But I mean, I should probably try to remove the lance first.
Okay. And what's your dexterity?
It's 3.
Okay. So, working in concert with one another, both in terms of just speed, as Dizzy steps forward and lets fly with a blow that has shattered and will continue to shatter almost everything that it comes into contact with, Hesha snatches the broken lance free of the centered mass of the statue, realizing that it is a statue. As it pulls free, you hear the scraping of metal, and you see Vitae fly as Dizzy lets loose a punch that is designed to be nearly earth-shattering. The crack of thunder that runs through the chantry about you, both of these things happen almost the exact moment. And the small bit of darkly flashing light leaves stars in everyone's eyes as you all literally break a ward that has been renewed constantly for over 2 century. Regis, the last time you were awake, the last time you knew was taking place around you, you heard the humming, whispered prattling of some foolish infidel. You heard the voice you couldn't see, because whatever this is that had held you firm has held you firm in a state of excited awareness and the most excruciating pain that you have felt since your fall rockets through you. And it's as if someone has reached in and broken the thread of your life. Snapping awake, a howl of pain, you are greeted by... Hestia would be so kind to describe yourself.
Hestia is literally 5'0", fairly curvy, Latina, black mixed. Curly hair, but it's currently pulled back tightly into a bun. She's wearing a black cloak over dark underbust corset over a purple shirt and black breeches with knee-high boots. And apparently she's got the lance in her hand.
Dizzy and Bill?
Bill's just wearing some denim pants, probably trainers, and heavy leather jacket. Very as ordinary as he can be.
Dizzy is a little taller than Hestia, but a little thinner. She's not as curvy as Hestia is. She's extremely attractive, but she's kind of a little emo punk goth girl. She's got long platinum blonde hair, wearing a hoodie and a band t-shirt, some ripped up jeans, and a black leather jacket over all of it.
Oh yeah, and Bill's on the older side, probably 50s.
Regis, are you still muted?
No, I'm not muted. I was just waiting for everyone to finish.
Okay.
Alright, after I fall to the ground, after the loud crash, you go, what the fuck? Where am I? Who are you people? What in the devil's name has happened? Oh my god. I touch myself on the chest as I I imagine a hole in the size of a lance in a fist somehow. Just being there. And I try to stand up as I tumble about, trying to get used to my body being animate again after so long.
What the fuck happened here? Do I hit him again or what?
Hit me. What do you mean?
Probably not. He might be able to help us. Just give me a minute.
Did I hear that the statue was bleeding?
Yes.
Do I need to make a roll?
It's moving.
The shock of a statue talking to you, because Regis is still very much covered in the dust and dirt of just a few short years. The armor clanking, the idea of being hungry, and even with your beast, you're a bit perplexed that such a thing could exist. You all brought a statue to life.
Hey, Dizzy, what happens when you kill someone?
I don't know. Usually they won't stop calling me, but that's a different matter.
What in the Lord's name is this?
Are you all right, dude?
Whoa. Don't be throwing that around here.
I think I'm alright. I seem to be intact for the most part, at the very least. Who are you people? And where am I? What is this place?
Does Golgotha ring a bell?
Does Kata?
Golgotha.
Golgotha. No. What is this? The name of a city?
And a band.
No, it's it's a long story. We don't really have time for this. Should we take him with us? As long as we can leave?
Listen, I don't care. I just want to get out of here, and I need to feed.
Okay, so now that he's down and moving around, like, has the area lightened up any? Like, can we see a way out of here now?
The area has not lightened in terms of just sheer visual light. You are still in. Hesha knows where you are. Well, just about. She knows what sort of place this is. It is a step between places, much like the Underdark of the Queen of Spades, and much like the maze, like Underdark up beneath the Succubus. She knows that this is a similar pocket, much like when you all were carrying the lodestone with as Dizzy's crew, when you were disappeared along the side of the road that seemed to place you somewhere in the based on the star charts, yet you were still in the continental United States. It's an overlapping pocket space. That is what the entirety of the Golgotha Chantry technically is, but freeing the central word by removing the anchor means that if you follow the steps up, most assuredly find your back out.
I assume you didn't volunteer to be stabbed and become an anchor.
That would most certainly be not the case. I think.
So he's probably on our side, he just doesn't know it yet.
Okay, so we're gonna leave then, because if I know how this works, and I've been through something similar to this before under the Succubus Club, and oh yeah, remember when you guys took the lodestone and then you ended up in that weird city? This is like that. So I'm going to wrap the spear in my cloak so that it's covered up and wrapped up and no longer exposed to the air, and then we're going to head back out the way we came and start looking for the stairs up and out of here.
Okay. Disney looks at the new guy and raises her voice and says, "We're going to go and you're going to come with us."
Better than staying in here, I guess.
Bill says, I said it once, and I'm gonna say it 100 times. These people are medieval.
all do puns intended. As you all make your way up and out, Hestia, what's your blood sorcery at?
My unrolled blood sorcery is 5. I'm maxed.
Oh, you know very well what Golgotha is. Not the chantry itself, but the word used to identify it. It is the valley where the final battle will happen, where Armageddon will be decided for either good or for ill, where the spirit and future of mankind will be judged. This is a place used to adjudicate, decide the fate, and you've removed the anchor of it, meaning that if there are other such prisoners, other such anchors throughout the chantry, that they are awakening, they're being freed. You have a time limit to escape, because if you do not, you very well might take their place.
I explain all that and say, let's go, hustle, hustle.
I mean, I was the first one that said we should leave.
Everyone, would you be so kind as to roll your resolve and compose your target is in fact 3. If you fail that 3, you will need to immediately roll to save versus a fury frenzy.
It's unswayable mind help.
It will.
Resolve and composure, right?
Yes.
That's like this. 2 successes.
Right. Well,
I had the willpower, but I got 3.
yes. All right. So, Regis, are you spending power or are we stay?
Sure, let's spend willpower, why not?
Okay. You click that little pip, that dot underneath your roll, that emoticon, that emoji there. It'll re-roll your willpower.
The dot there, like this.
Yep.
3 successes.
As you all are nearing what appears to exit, the blinding white light of judgment falls over. The lights begin to flicker. The ground begins to shake. You hear the howls of pain from the battle taking place in the grand antechamber, which should be over, yet somehow has been rejoined. You hear the crash of metal. You hear the shouts of, "Oh God, they're free!" And a instantaneous anger at the situation you all are in begins to wash over you. The reason why the Tremere of the Chantry, why the Chantry has not involved themselves in the world at large, is not only are they keeping truck with a demon-possessed kindred, they are holding these mystical artifacts, keeping them from moving into the world at large. And they're doing so without communicating with any of the others throughout the city. They have taken it upon themselves to be the guardians and the arbiters of the fate of this portion of the world. Because most of the things that you have found out in the last few days and the last few weeks were released to the public. Panic and discord that will fall across the kindred of the city would most assuredly be turned towards the Tremere, the Chantry as well as a whole. And as those realizations and understanding wash over you, and as Regis is bombarded with the fact that he was stabbed and used as a mystical artifact while still being minorly aware of the world around him, held in a torturous slavery, you all muscle through. You push beyond the anchor that washes over you, just barely so, and stumble out into the alley behind Golgotha. The cars that I've parked back here, there's a 1988 green on green Astro van. There's an actual honest to God rat racer. There's several motorcycles and God knows what else. There's a huge old dirty truck that has clearly been used to pick up junk throughout the city. And most importantly, above all else, is the fact that there is a freshness to the air. You realize that this Chantry is not the only one that is in operation in the city. You realize that this is not the only battleground for the soul of Chicago that exists, that the Tremere are holding at bay. And Hestia, you realize that the lance that you wrapped so carefully to keep from touching any portion of you or the world at large, warm. Instead of drawing in heat like the lodestone, it seems to be putting out heat. It seems to be reaching out. What is it that you all would like to do?
So do I need to borrow us a car?
Do I recognize any of these vehicles, or like how far is it to the limo that we left?
The limo will be on the front side of the temple, Park Street side. You all are...
Is there a valet parking?
Not exactly. Michael left his driver with the vehicle.
Let's go eat his driver and take the limo.
It sounds like music to me.
I mean, he might be tracking that limo or something. We can steal a car. It's no big deal.
He tried to kill me. I think we should still eat his driver.
Bill is gonna eat the driver, yes. Or try to at least.
All right, well, whatever floats your boat. Have I mentioned that I am sick of this magic bullshit?
Sorry. I agree with you. Oddly enough, as somebody that is stuck in it up to my neck, I am starting to agree with you. So yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to work our way back towards the limo. Bill is going to do what they need to do as far as getting fed, and we're going to look for alternative means of transportation.
Again, with the raised voice, Dizzy looks at Regis and is like, okay, new guy, we're going to go kill a dude and steal a car and get out of here.
Lead the way, I guess. I'm not sure what this car thing is, but I'll be sure to slay it if it comes around, if needed.
Sweet.
Did they stake him in the brain or something? Well,
I think he's
we'll find out later.
What you're not understanding is that I'm pointing back at Regis, is a knight. Meaning they were around when a lot of things were not. Like there were no cars, there were no trains, there were a lot of things.
He seems chill though, so don't, unless we tell you to, don't slay anything, Boomer.
Bill just raises an eyebrow and okay. Right now, I'm gonna take care of my needs, and then we can talk all about history.
The only real question, because while the driver is a little more skilled than he possibly should be, is the numbers are on your side. If you all have worked together to subdue him, it should be a fairly quick matter. The question remains, however, for Bill. Would he attempt to not take all that he needs, or would he in for a penny, in for a pound?
Bill is gonna shoot this fellow, and since he has iron gullet, he doesn't even care.
So, Regis, you have witnessed many acts of military violence against enemies. This is nothing new for you. However, how it transpires is, as you are around the corner, Bill takes sight, pointing with his gun. It looks literally like he's holding a hunk of metal. And in fact, it is a hunk of metal, as a slug fires from it, pinning the driver to ground. His life leaking from him as Bill descends on him with a speed that belies how hungry he is. You watch as Bill drains the driver completely.
Oh, what the fuck, dude? I could have sweet talked him.
Hey, Hestia said that he tried to kill her, or somebody tried to kill her, and that's not a problem anymore.
The moment the gun fires, I grab myself by the ears from the loud noise, because I imagine guns are loud unless it has a suppressor.
Oh no, it definitely doesn't have a suppressor.
It doesn't. I just, what is this devilry? What did you do?
I killed him, dude.
You killed an innocent man. What for?
Not innocent.
Believe me.
Not innocent.
If you are driving those fuckers around, you have you are in deep up to your eyelashes. So not innocent for sure.
To be fair, he drove us fuckers around.
That's his own fault.
The man was not even armed. How could you do this? It's so dishonorable.
Oh, I assure you, he was armed.
He most assuredly was armed. He was armed mystically. But that is of no consequence at the moment, because his life is over. His life and your air of stealth are both equal over. You all discharge a firearm, not only a nice main thorough street. One of the many things that filters in, especially for Dizzy, having spoken with several of the powers that be in this area, she realizes partially why Golgotha is where it is. Partially why is because you wouldn't keep a nuclear reactor in your backyard, but your enemy's backyard is perfectly fine. The Republic of Riverdale is a bastion of anarch barons. Not as strong as Tronopolsky and Joliet, but considerably more active. And you all just shook heaven and committed manslaughter on a public street.
Time to go.
Must be Tuesday.
You guys are getting inside of the limo, right?
How many cars are in this lot?
On your street side, so there's several cars passing. There's on this side of the street about 6 cars parked against the curb, and on an equal amount on the opposite side of the street.
Well, we better pick one or we're taking this one, because we got to get out of here.
Yeah, well, I was thinking,
I'll pick one.
does your magic gun make these things explode?
No, that's Dizzy.
As they're arguing, I look for a car that will hold all of us.
Well, Regis is wearing roughly 75 pounds of tactical. Well, at his time, the most advanced tactical gear that you could. In present day, it is 75 pounds of beaten metal that has survived for centuries. So it is not quite as robust or as undamaged as it should be. However, it is still adds roughly half another person to need. Dressed as he is, would need a larger vehicle.
All right, we got to take the limo because it's 10 man. So everybody pile in.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Who's driving? And yes, they're all stepping into an SUV. Regis, what is it that you're doing? Just realizing that they just killed a person in the street. He fired fire and lightning from his hand and immediately set on him like the most craven of dogs, feasting at the fallen carcass by the roadside. You have several images, several memories moving through the streets and watching such things happen.
I just clench my fist, bite my lip, and I'm trying to stay quiet, and I follow them as I have absolutely no idea what is going on. And I see them getting into this piece of metal, sitting inside of it, and I'm thinking this has to be some sort of teleportation device, I imagine, witchcraft. So I just joined them and try to keep my calm. Keep my cool.
Okay, Bill, what's your drive at? Because I got 1 dot in drive.
1 dot also.
Well, since you were up near the driver, you ate the driver, you probably have the keys, so you should drive.
All right. Bill probably has a what's the saying? Cheshire cat smile on him.
There is a unmitigated pleasure in emptying another being of their life. There is no other way to put it. While the feeding in and of itself causes all manner and all permutations of pleasure to rifle through you, Bill is not possessed with a overly developed sense of guilt in regards to most things. He's fairly pragmatic, especially when it comes to feeding. Hence the reason why he can drink not only the living vitae, but the dead as well. That devoid of taste darkness that happens when you feed upon the deceased or when you feed upon prepared bagged blood. This, however, was like drinking down a very nice, full-bodied claret. It is warming and it makes the cold of the world fall away. And most importantly, in that last few seconds where that 21 grams of that being's soul slips from it, there's an embrace, there's a sharing of space and time and happiness. It is clear that the driver, for all of the things that Dubiar may be accused of, was treated very well. And while all manner of evils may have happened at Dubiar's hand, while all manners of duplicity may have happened at Dubiar's hand, or worse, The driver was well treated, was well loved, was appreciated, and was given a close facsimile of immortality without losing the benefit of day's grace. And you have that sense of being sitting there.
Bill takes the body out of the driver's seat and kind of looks into his vacant eyes and squints a little bit. The moment passes and he slams the door and says, "All right, let's go."
Dizzy, as everyone knows, and Regis is there dealing the weight and ramifications of literally being in a different world, unsure as to how he's able to communicate with you because you are clearly not speaking Arabic or Aramaic or
Latin.
English or Celtic or Gaelic. You're not speaking any of the languages that bombarded the Holy Land when he was there, when he was awake and active. Yet, in the years, centuries, the changing of civilizations in between, being fed and kept as a reliquary and anchor, he has been bombarded with the modern American English language. He's also been gifted the very real, potent aspects of others' lives while he slept or slumbered as close to it as kindred come. But Dizzy, while all of this is happening, Regis is clearly filtering across his face as he those emotions, those realizations. Are you doing the Dizzy? Are you headphones in, watching out the typical behavior that Dizzy has exhibited thus far when being driven, being escorted?
Yep.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus streetwise? Oh, you recognize that car. You recognize that bike that's following behind that car. You know that they belong to Baron Ceferino. He was one of the few that showed up when Genghis put out the all-points bulletin about you all assaulting or at least coming to have a conversation with the sheriff of Chicago. You know what territory you're in. Ceferino, while not as militaristic as the other anarchs, is far too rational when it comes to things. The explosions and thunder rocketing through the chantry, the gunshots in the middle of the street. How would you like for someone to show up in your home, your neighborhood, and start defecating on the street corner? That's how any rational person would feel.
We got locals, guys. And I will roll down the window and kind of hang out and look at them.
I say if we can manage to keep going, we can go until we get to our own territory and then pull over and handle it. Or pull over now, but I don't like the idea of pulling over now. I want to get somewhere safe first.
Bill just floors it when Hestia says that. Bill just floors it. It's obviously a limo, so probably not very well handling, but yeah. Is it like a French limo or like a Cadillac limo or something like that?
It is an Escalade limo. It is a SUV stretched to ridiculous proportion and stocked with all manner of purposefully over-the-top finery. So it handles like you would imagine a yacht would.
The only problem is that if we turn very quickly, the people in the back are probably going to get slammed against the sides of the limo.
You definitely will have to turn fairly quickly as you race across 137th, heading towards the 94 to make that left and take that north so that you can skirt around, maybe hit like you'll have a decision to make as you get closer into the city. But for the moment, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and drive, because as Dizzy lets down her window and makes eye contact with the driver of the truck. You realize that in fact, the main man himself, Seferino, is actually driving. He's actually been out patrolling, meaning that you caught him probably post-hunt or maybe just checking in with a few sources, and he's pointing to pull for you all to pull over. As with the revving engines, it's hard for you to communicate. You can't have a quiet conversation.
What the shit, dude? Slow down. Hang on. We could have drawn worse cards on this. This will be all right.
He looks at Hestia.
If you feel like we can talk our way out of this, okay, I'm gonna trust you.
Dude, I can talk my way out of anything.
All right. Bill puts the emergency lights on, blinkers, and then goes into an alley if at all possible, and then stops the vehicle.
Okay.
Before we're even at a complete stop, Dizzy we're going like 3 miles an hour. Dizzy hops out of the car.
Oh no. Seferino eases to a stop behind the SUV, keeping far enough away so that a reverse ramming attack won't be the easiest thing without giving the heads up, and close enough that he doesn't have to walk that far. Who all exits the SUV as Dizzy is hopped free?
I'm a keep an ear out, but I'm not getting out.
As she's walking towards the car, she kind of holds her hands up to show that she's not armed. Not that that means anything among kindred, but
it means enough, the idea. Seferino is, again, while not the most militaristic, he's fairly pragmatic. He believes in the often touted but seldom actually utilized belief that everyone should be entitled to a certain amount of freedom provided you respect the environment that you're in. Unlike Genghis, who often rubs it in the tower's face, visiting the succubus, purposely taking part in Elysium while saying fuck the towers in the way what they can't actively act against him. Seferino was the sort that, they got their space, I got mine, fuck them, and I'm sure they say the same about me. Each their own, but he's also willing to lend his support and aid to other anarchs if needed. That's the reason why he was one of Evelyn's first calls when Genghis said, bring everybody. Hopping out of the car and walking towards Dizzy, there's a considerable appraisal, and he raises his hands in the universal sign of surrender, even though it's not exactly what's being said. There's no real harm on the table at this moment. That could, of course, change. But right now, there's no ill intent.
Hey, dude, we've met. This your spread?
It is.
So I apologize for any mess we might have left behind. We were invited here to Hogwarts, and they decided that Quidditch wasn't violent enough. So we're just trying to get the fuck out of that.
I don't really do vernacular. I don't really do popular movies. I understand the whole Harry Potter thing. You're talking about actual mages. Talking about fucking warlocks.
Fucking warlocks.
Fucking hell, I hate those. It's the reason why we ran them out of River to begin with. They're too much fucking trouble.
Well, that building on fire over there was theirs.
Okay. They got any powerhouses with them?
Dude, they're like all in there. As far as I know. I mean, I don't really hang out with them. But there were a lot of them.
You'd be so kind as to roll your charisma and your persuasion. You're not attempting to lie, you're actually telling the truth. How well does that reach across? So, the whole kid and caboodle, all of the fucking tower warlocks are hanging out in Riverdale. Is there a reason why the fuck they're down here?
They were having some sort of trial or something, and one of ours is one of theirs, and they were supposed to come and judge or something, and then everything went all foobar, and they're settling grudges, and they were tearing the shit out of each other when we left. We're just trying to get the fuck out of here. But as I don't want any blowback, I'm stopping to tell you this because you saw us here. I didn't know this was your territory, but that's what's going on. So we apologize for intruding unannounced, but we didn't know.
All right, fuck it. Ain't no sense of kicking up too much dust. Nobody can fight a battle on two fronts and off a win. You guys get the fuck out of here. We didn't have this conversation. Let me go kill some fucking warlocks. And he starts walking back to the truck, and you know very well that's exactly what he...
Hey, if you could make sure to kill one that's, then I just described that Sylvia chick to him. That would be most appreciated. I would consider that a favor.
Yeah, you'll owe me one. I'll take her down. And as he pulls out, he does the very most in regards to, you can hear his dialing through whatever Bluetooth system he has in that beater of a truck. Yeah, hey, pieces out of the alley. You all have managed to do in a few moments of your evening, awaken a long dead spirit, make relative armistice with an anarch baron, and escape World War 16 amongst the faction of the Chantry. You all, and while those victories and moments of success are high praise, you have also managed to unleash the beings that were kept from interacting with this world, including the long dead spirit that is inhabiting and is living and breathing Regis in the backseat of the SUV. While those realizations take place and take hold with the lands beginning to heat up more on Hestia's lab, make your way towards the city, taking the expressway down and around, merging onto Lakeshore Drive. Alex, you have your answers. There are several different cabals, several different roving chantries and cults of the Akashic throughout the city. What is it that's on his plate? What is it that's on his mind? Skilled though he may be in physical combat, these are actual will workers. Not all of them will be of low enough rank, such as this gentleman here, Eric, easily felled.
Well, for now, I think Alex is just gonna make a map of to give him, and then take time to come up with a plan of attack. But he also, I think, if I remember correctly, still has 2 aggravated damage to his health. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's probably gonna start taking steps to make his way back to the Haven, to rise another night.
Okay, so enough is enough for him. Evening, he has seen through illusions, he has felled a mage, he has scarred several others, and is building a name amongst the working community as a terror, as something to fear, something to fly from as quick as possible. So that being the case, as you all, where are you parking the SUV limousine, Bill?
Sorry?
Where are you parking the vehicle? Are you pulling it into the parking lot of Coder parking structure?
No, because I don't know what's the rules of the country, so I just asked him where do we dump this piece of shit.
Dizzy would suggest that we ditch it somewhere, like in a parking garage, nowhere near there, and she'll call Regul to pick the rest of us up, because that car is probably being tracked. It's probably reported stolen. We don't need the heat. We don't need to be in it longer than we need to be in it. So,
Bill just goes to a bad neighborhood, and thinking that they will take care of whatever is in the car, probably dismantle it in 2 hours or something like that.
Okay. Regis, as you all make your way north, the rate of travel is equal to, considerably faster than a horse at gallop. It is like that 3 to 5 minutes of the charge, but it lasts considerably longer. 2 minutes turns into 3 minutes turns into 15. Before you know it, you guys have been driving for over an hour as you are bombarded by the sheer light pollution, the lanterns that don't flicker, the sheer overwhelming brightness of day brought to night.
I try to cover my eyes. Just looking at it, trying to look at everything and going, has the devil taken over the world? What is all of this? Light that shines in the night. Those are not torches.
Dizzy will blow a bubble with her bubble gum and say, "How old are you anyway, Tin Man?"
Whoa, what year is it?
It's
I will
the
tell
year
him.
of our Lord 2021.
Impossible. They lie. The world was supposed to end in the year of our Lord.
I mean, I have to roll inside to check out if it's actually 2021. I need to know if that man is lying to me because it sounds ridiculous, right?
It does. It is the antithesis of reality.
I don't know that word, but so what is that? Wits and insight, I guess.
Yep.
Hey, 2 successes. Are you being honest, my man?
He is. He's being 100% honest, but it makes no sense. The world has persisted longer than it should. You promised by the several war priests and several mendicants that the world was going to end in no later than the 1600. Literally, the year 1599, the world was supposed to end. There's no way it persisted for nearly 600 years more.
You can see, like, Regis seems stunned by what you just said. He's in disbelief. Is what I'm trying to say.
So if I remember right, this thing has a TV in it. That was part of the things we were playing with on the way. I am going to turn on the TV and look for like YouTube or something, and then I'm gonna like History Channel.
So what year are you from then?
The last thing I remember, it was 1029, I think. 1129. Yes, that is correct.
Holy shit, dude.
Wow.
Can we call anybody? Do you have, I don't know, a cousin or someone who's in charge of you?
I don't know. I imagine so. We must go back to Rome.
There's a thing going on right now that would make it kind of impossible to do. It's called COVID. There's like
Wait, is
travel
COVID actually part of this? Oh no. Travel bans. I've never heard of the Emperor doing such a thing.
You know how hard it is to get a passport when you're dead?
Yeah, there's that too.
Out of character, what do Bill could know about super ancient vampires?
Typically, they'll drink you and the entirety of your ever thought to exist completely dry as an aperitif towards what they really want, which is the blood of the old.
Bill goes close to DC and tells her, "This is like a Methuselah guy. I think they were like a boogeyman or something. He's gonna eat us all."
I don't eat people or other kindred for your information. I only sustain myself whenever necessary.
He might have been asleep for a long time. Maybe he's different.
Not only is he different, Regis, your generation was supposed to be one of the many signs that the world was ending. That Gehenna was upon the world. You all had to purify yourselves and prepare for what was to come, to decide the fate of mankind, to God's good grace. Yeah, clearly they lied. Because
God never lies.
No, but his priests might.
The priests were corrupted. Oh no.
I think the first order.
I say this out loud.
I think the first thing we need to do is get this guy some clothes before someone tries to recycle him.
About what size does he look? Does he look like he could wear maybe some of Simone's old clothes?
Yes.
And then we have that. I have back at the shelter. We have clothes that I could give to them.
I kind of just wanted to go to the Target, but that'll work too.
Well, I mean, why not? It's already been a crazy night. Target it is.
I mean, you make a valid point. We probably have had enough action for tonight. We don't need Target.
So, needless to say, everyone arrives at the Haven. You guys bother to try to sneak Regis in, or are you going to take your often used secret entrance through the morgue?
I can be distracting if we need, or you could take him in the back door, because everyone seems to know about the back door now anyway.
We're gonna go through the front because it's quicker that way just to get into the Haven if we go to the front. So distraction sounds good to me. We should also probably park the limo somewhere well away from the shelter, and we'll walk the rest of the way.
No, Vivi arrives at one of the shelter's vans to pull you from the piss poor neighborhood that you happen to park in, which is actually, strangely enough, not what most people would expect. You all don't park in Calumet, you don't park in Inglewood, you actually park in Hyde Park.
And we hope somebody steals it.
You actually park on 59th, better known to those on that side near 59th and College Grove, the Midway Plaisance, near the sculpture that was used for that Kevin Bacon movie where they, played Ding Dong Ditch with God. And Vivi arrived shortly thereafter, taking you guys all over the city, merging onto Lakeshore Drive, onto Sheridan. Before you know it, you are at the Haven. As she pulls up to the front door, her gaze not the brightest, with the idea of a person who's cosplaying as a knight who looks like living stone, considering all of the caked on dirt from the ages and dust that sticks to them. But, she's her usual pragmatic quiet. There will be conversations later that. Making your way in and through the secret door in the office, you all head toward the meeting room, you head toward the work. Where do you all head to get Regis ensconced and changed?
We would need somewhere with a bath first, so one of the done bathrooms in the place. We'll take him to the bathroom, and then I run to Simone's room and get the extra clothes. Before I go do that, I said, "Kid, somebody check on Alex? We haven't seen him in a while, and I know he's been really upset since that whole thing happened the other night, so we might want to find out where he is."
Well, all I want to say in my defense is somebody's carrying a ballista with some stakes on it. He's gonna get it between the eyes.
Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Alex, when you got to the Haven, it was fairly quiet. There wasn't any one of the coterie floating about, at least not in the more commonly used as of late morgue. As you make your way upstairs, would you head to the meeting room, or a typical meeting room? Would you head to the library? Where would you try to find?
Probably be probably be heading to my usual resting spot. Unless I run into anybody else on the way.
You hear Hesha saying that they should come check on you. As you follow, without realizing that you have followed your nose and the sounds that were bombarding silently on the walls, you find yourself Regis, Alex, Hestia, Alex, Hestia, Dizzy, Alex, Bill, Alex, Hestia. Ta-da.
Dude, check out what we found. He's like biblical old.
Do I have any glass or blood on my clothes?
Yes.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask, wait, so who's the new guy?
This is Tin Man.
Me or
super
him?
old. That's a valid point.
I don't
Which
think
one
I
is he
met
looking at?
Alex before, right?
You did. He was when you started popping off the previous mages.
Well, I saw him do his kung fu thing, but have we actually met?
Sorry guys, I lied out for a second. Last thing I heard was he's 10 minutes, super old.
Trying to figure out who you mean by new guy.
How old are we talking?
Like
This
way
guy,
before electricity.
He's older than the entire United States. I mean,
What's his name?
Like Assassin's Creed old.
Assassin's Creed.
God damn it.
He's older than England. He's older than the crumpets. Yeah. I think sugar wasn't invented when he was around.
I'm gonna look at him and just say, I'm Alexander, and you are?
I am Regis, Sir Alexander. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. What year do you think it is?
What year do I think it is?
Yeah.
Well, your friend said something that quite bothers me. I suppose he could be somewhat of an insane man in his head. He said it is the year 2021, although that makes no sense, because the world is not supposed to exist anymore.
We don't even have flying cars. They lied to us.
Well, what year was it when you went to sleep?
I was in the midst of battle, fighting the infidels at Jerusalem. I believe it was around the year 1200 or so, although I cannot say for certain because the nights were somewhat blending in together at that time, and I seem to be missing a couple of my memories. My head hurts again. I apologize for the lack of information.
You'll feel better when you're clean. Check it out. I'm going to show you something cool. The walls rain. You're going to love it.
Have witches become common in this world?
I mean, sort of in some
I'm calling
quarters.
that.
Is he still wearing his armor?
Yes, very much so.
Alright, what colors is he flying?
I mean, I'm not sure if the color has sustained itself too much, so the dust probably gives it a brownish tint to it. But you can see it's the red cross with pure white for the Templar Order. I don't know how much a coat you know though.
Regis, you said something about knights. Are you one of the holy orders, the cross?
I'm a knight of the Templar Order, yes.
Hestia comes back with the clothes.
Well, damn.
All right. Give him a little bit of a break. This is probably a lot on him right now. Let him get clean first, and then we can ask him all the questions afterward.
We can ask him all the questions.
Alex is going to lean over to Hestia and whisper, so is this guy nuts? Do we actually have a Templar knight?
Yeah, but the thing is, see, they were using him as an anchor to do bad things at the Chantry House, and I'm glad we freed him, but I don't know the ramifications of what's going to happen now that we have, because he wasn't the only thing we freed. Oh well, that was the price of getting out of there. Oh, all hell broke loose, by the way. Everybody started fighting everybody, and guess who's back? Sylvia is somehow out of the floor at my house and showed up to ruin the whole trial and attack me and some other things. And yeah, I'm not happy right now. I wanted to kill her, but they wouldn't let me kill her. They said we had to go. So that's a thing.
The Premier were using knights as magical anchors.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm not even surprised. I don't. At this point, I'd be surprised if they weren't doing something, you know. So
I punched him so hard his lance fell out.
And on that note, I would like to thank you all. It has been a lovely episode and a lovely session. I look forward to next week with the questions as to Regis's surviving through the centuries to get to you all, what the Tremere are using him to lock up and keep from assaulting the city, the ramifications of the faction war that took place that you all managed to escape with the skin of your teeth, the ramifications of sending an Anarch army into a full-blown civil war amongst the Chantry, and most important, how Vivi was able to get the keys to the shelter's vans without causing dilemma problems. Good night, everyone, and we'll see you guys here next week. Same bad time and channel. Have a nice evening.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Night, everyone.
It was fun playing with you.
Night all.